All right, here we are with the X3. I'm finally gonna finish setting the preloads on my shocks. So we're gonna get the ride height set, and then we're gonna readjust our crossovers, make sure those are all done the way we want them. Working with a couple new gadgets today, so bear with me in the next few videos as I get used to using them. I got my nice little fuzzy dingler here. Hopefully that'll make the audio a little bit better for you guys. And I got this fancy little camera holder thing that you guys can't see, but it's behind me, behind the camera. Follows me around. I can move over here and it kind of follows me a little bit. So hopefully that'll make the videos a little higher quality and be a little bit more fun for you guys to watch. Here's just a quick demonstration of the spring. You can see the weight is off of this wheel. And I can come up here and I can move that whole spring. Obviously that's less than ideal. You don't want to be able to move this. It should be under way more tension than that. So that's why we are adjusting all of those bad boys. These guys right here. When you're working on stuff like this, you got to get creative. So I'm not supposed to pull or push with this arm at all. So holding this second ratchet, I'm just shoving this back into this screw in this hole, and then that's gonna hold it. It's been 5 weeks of just getting creative with stuff like that, basically. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. All right, so we're gonna get to messing with our adjustments. I'm just gonna go back up with this slightly, take all my weight off the tires. All right, that tire's off the ground, that rock guard's facing the right way, and that rock guard's facing the right way. I don't know if all X3s come with this, mine did, but if you don't have one of these little wrenches and you're trying to do shock adjustments, get one of these wrenches. This thing is amazing. So we're almost there. We're at about 8 right now. So my guess is if we were really trying to jam these springs down hard, we would probably need a spring compressor. We would probably need something better than this tool. But right now, this tool is working perfectly. I'm gonna set this, as I mentioned, at 8.5, and then go and match my other side. That's fun. You can move that whole. I've seen that in another video too. I didn't know if that would work or not. We got enough tension down there now that you can just spin that whole spring and move that thing around. Wow, and that is perfect. We are sitting right at 8.5. So before I go put this locker back on, I'm gonna adjust the other side, do the same thing, put it at 8.5. And then I'm gonna set the car on the ground and see what our ride height looks like. And then I'll lock that thing down. And then once that's done, I will readjust our preloads. All right, see if I can get this measurement on camera for you guys here. Yeah, we're sitting right now. It's just under 17. It's about 16 3/4. Yeah, so the front's right at about 16, honestly. So I'm gonna take, I don't think it was actually at 17 before. I think it was probably a little bit under 17. So it's about perfect. I'm gonna take just a little tiny bit back out of the rear end. Probably gonna move this back up 1/4 of an inch. That'll give us 16.5 and 16.5 basically. So I'm gonna do that, readjust the crossovers, and we will be set. All right, our next step here is going to be replacing our power steering ECU. As you guys can see, it is epowersteering.com. It's their kit, and it's got this giant heat sink on top of it now, because that's the basically only drawback. It's a big drawback, but it's the only drawback to this kit is this ECU will overheat and shut off. At some point, it will overheat itself enough where it never comes back on. And that's about where mine's at. So this is it here. And I'm just gonna take these couple screws out on the dash, pop this dash off, and then it's just got 2 screw holes there and there that hold it on. And then it's just unplugging the plugs, replugging it back in, and that's all there is. And then we'll get the magic click that makes our power steering work again. All right, this is one of the hardest things that I have tried to film for you guys so far. So this is my old power steering ECU. Let's see, I pulled the switch off of it, and it's actually kind of coming apart there. I'm assuming that happened in my massive rollover, but who knows? This is what's left of the dial switch. So this is a variable unit. What is this? Oh, this is my old tablet charger that I crushed in my last rollover. So that's junk. This is a variable unit. I believe it's 350 watts all the way up to 700 watts. So, I mean, if you're comparing it to the Super ATV, the newest one, the 600 watt, technically this does have more steering power. I've not driven one of the new 600 watt steering systems. If you want to build series on one of those, go check out the Can Am crew or Metal Offroad. They've done a couple. Redneck Trucker X has done one. I know a couple people are running them and they're really happy with them. This system was in my Can Am when I bought it, and it's got nice shafts in there and it's all put in properly, so we're running with it. I like that it's variable. I don't know that that's absolutely necessary, but it kind of helps prolong the steering ECU system because you can turn it down. So here's that. Obviously this is in pieces, which is bad. I cut the rest of this just to use for my new harness and spliced it in. Changing this is super simple. I tried to show you guys that. It's got a bracket up under the steering wheel that's held on there. It's got 2 plugs that plug in there, 1 plug that plugs in here, and then your variable dial just plugs in right here. So here, I'm gonna take my little mic here. Hopefully you can hear that humming. That's the motor working. I don't know if that, I don't feel like that motor should be working all the time when it's just sitting here, but maybe that's why it works itself too hard. The system's just all the way on, but I'm not really sure. This is our new ECU. It looks different because it's got this heat sink on it that I showed you guys. That's supposed to dissipate the heat that builds up in that thing and supposed to keep it working longer. Hopefully that works, because right now I get about I got about 8 to 10 months out of my last one before it started giving me issues. But yeah, that's kind of what we did there. And then, you know, from there, the wiring just kind of runs under there, comes down here, and then hits into your bus bar, which for me is under here. I will see you guys next time. I really appreciate everybody that's watched this one. I realize this was not the most exciting video, but come back next time. We will get into some exciting stuff out at Badlands. We're gonna talk to some racers. We're gonna run the race course, do a little bit of pre-running. You're gonna wanna come back for that one, see what we get into, and then after that, we're hitting Good Evening Ranch with the Can Am crew and everybody that shows up with that subscriber ride. I think Peyton's gonna come and bring his dirt bike, so we're gonna see what we get into there. He might have a buddy that brings like a badass old blaster or something like that. You're gonna have to come back and check that one out. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Thank you for watching this video. Do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, like it, drop me a comment, let me know what I messed up, let me know how you did. Do you run the e-Power steering kit in your Can-Am or Polaris? I think they also make one for a Talon. If anybody else runs it, let me know if you have the same overheating issues I do. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Catch you guys next time. Peace. Remember, enjoy that journey.